Alright, this will be Chapter 3 test, junior high math. In this it covers three main big topics. The first is solve the equation. Unsolve the equation, make sure that you do the inverse operation to isolate the variable by itself. So if we had something as x plus 2 equals 3, we would just simply go x plus 2 minus 2 is equal to 3 minus 2, and x would equal 1. We had something along the lines of 2x equals 4. Then what's being done to the x is 2 times x, so divide both sides by 2, and x will equal 2. If we were saying x divided by 2 equals 5, then do the opposite of dividing by 2, which would be to multiply by 2, and x would equal 10. And lastly, if I were saying x minus 2 equals negative 3, then I would add 2 to both sides. X minus 2 plus 2, negative 3 plus 2, and x would equal negative 1. So in all of those, make sure that you are doing the inverse or undoing, as our book talks about it. Do the opposite of what's being done to the x to undo that equation on the left. And you can check these by just simply going back in, like say for this one, and plugging this 2 in for x. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 equals 4, and you know you're correct. Those are one-step equations. Now, a two-step equation involves 2 steps. It's pretty easy to know. You're going to have to do 2 things to these equations to get x. So if we had something like 2x minus 4 equals 8. Now, what we need to do first is always start on the side with the x. And the number that is farthest from the x is the one that we are going to work with first. So instead of subtracting 4, I'm going to say 2x minus 4 plus 4 and get 8 plus 4, because I want to do whatever to this side I do to the other to move it across. And it gives me 2x is equal to 12. Now, the opposite of saying 2 times x, just like now we're back to a one-step equation. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 6. And once again, I can check this. Start back with my original equation. I plug in for x. 2 times 6 minus 4 equals 8. 2 times 6 is 12 minus 4 is equal to 8. 8 is equal to 8. That is the first portion of the test. The second portion deals with area and perimeter of a rectangle, a square, and a triangle. These are 3 formulas that you need to have memorized. If we're talking about a rectangle, we're going to go, let's go perimeter first. P equals 2 times L plus 2 times W. The area of a rectangle is A equals LW. On a square, perimeter is equal to 4S. Area is equal to S squared, or side squared. On a triangle, the perimeter is equal to side A plus side B plus side C. The area of a triangle is 1/2 of the base and the height. Remember that our base and height are always found at the right angle. The 2 sides that create the right angle are our base and height. An example of a triangle which is new, the rectangle and the square we've done before back in chapter 2. If we had a triangle that came down, and on this triangle here is our right angle, and I told you that this was 8 and this was 10, and I want to know what the area is. Simply, we would just go A is equal to 1/2 of the base times the height. A is equal to 1/2 of the base, which is 10, times the height, which is 8. Now, due to the commutative property of multiplication, the order in which we do this does not matter. 1/2 of 10 is 5, times 8. Area is equal to 40. Simple enough. Knowing those equations are very, very important to be able to do tomorrow. Now, the last section is on our inequalities. And they can read greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. We solve these just like we solve the equations we did before. If we had 4x is greater than 12, I would divide both sides by 4 and have x is greater than 3. And then if I wanted to graph that on a number line, I'd have 3, 4, and 5, and then this way would be 2 and 1. Now, since x is first, I'm going to circle 3. I'm not going to fill it in because it doesn't have an or equal to sign. But since x is first and it's pointing to the right, I can simply just draw my line to the right. Now, what this actually means is that any number greater than 3 would make this inequality true. And that's probably an easier way to look at it. Now, if I had 4x is greater than or equal to 12, well, let's say that 4 was negative. Then I'd have to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Now, if you divide or multiply by a negative number when solving an inequality, then you must change the direction of the inequality symbol. So instead of greater than or equal to, it becomes less than or equal to negative 3. Now when I graph that, negative 3, negative 4, negative 2, I would circle negative 3. Since it's underlined, I'm going to fill it in. X is less than negative 3, so x will be any number less than or equal to 3. That means or equal to. Now, let's say for some type of bonus question, I gave you something along the lines of 2x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 10. Well, this is a two-step inequality. So we're going to solve it just like a two-step equation. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. 2x is greater than or equal to 8. We're going to divide both sides by 2. We're not going to change our sign because 2 is positive. X is greater than or equal to 4. And then if I wanted to graph that, I would have 4, and here's 5, and right here is 3. I will circle 4. Yes, I'll fill it in because it's or equal to. X is greater than 4, so any number greater than 4. This problem would be a good bonus on your test, a two-step inequality. But that's it. Know how to solve one- and two-step equations. Know how to solve one-step inequalities. And for bonus two-step inequality, know how to graph the inequality. Also know your area perimeter formulas for triangle, rectangle, and square. How to work them when I give you the area and look for a dimension, or when I give you the dimensions and ask for the area. That is chapter 3, and that's it.